Well, the Kerala Assembly LOP and Congress leader V.D. Satheesan have arrived at the Cochin International Airport, where the Special Indian Air Force aircraft carrying the mortal remains of 45 Indian victims in the fire incident in Kuwait will be reaching shortly. Let's first listen in to what he had to say about this unfortunate incident.
This is very unfortunate when an incident is happening abroad. It is a duty of both the states to send their representatives. The central government's representatives were there when the state was trying to send their representative, the health minister, but the central government has not given the political clearance. This is very unfortunate. This is political. That is, we are not with that.
All right, Ajay Jandial, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Ajay, of course, this is unfortunate. We all concur to that, and that's what the leader had to also say. But the fact of the matter is that India has signed stringent and strict MOUs, with some of these Gulf countries about recruitment and giving legal protection, to the laborers who work in their countries. But whenever something like this happens, Ajay, the legal recourse has always been very long stretched. And the Prime Minister also chaired a meeting regarding this incident. Do you think that after this tragedy, a lot might change?
Well, see, definitely it's a major loss of life there as far as the Indians are concerned. Those who were living in the Kuwait, and definitely they were there for their bread and butter. But unfortunate incident has taken place. But most of the workers, they were working with the NBTC company, and it is expected that Government of India, when they are definitely trying their best to help the families, those who are helplessly waiting here for the bodies and other things, they are also going to pursue this matter with the Kuwait government, that they have been given a full support as far as the legal battle is concerned, because they were died because of the fire incident inside a company, and definitely during the duty hours, if they have died, under the legal framework, they will be getting enough support, financial support by the government as well. As you told that MOU has been signed with the multiple countries as far as the Government of India is concerned, for their safety, for the other legal help by the company. So it is expected, because no doubt that they were there for their bread and butter, but in return they were working for the Kuwait government. They were working for their companies, which basically were definitely helping them to grow their economy as well. So definitely it was a both-way communication. So it is expected that their government will help for the legal battle, and Government of India is also going to take up this matter with the Kuwait government.
All right. Okay. Ambassador Tripathi is also with us. Joyita Basu of the Sunday Guardian also joins us on the program. Ambassador Tripathi, coming back to you, this obviously is an ecosystem which needs a lot of overhaul. Do you think that the Indian government might come down heavily on a lot of these countries who have taken Indian laborers for granted, and even in the face of such tragedies have shown a lackluster response to what the legal recourse should have ideally been?
Look, we have an upper hand, no doubt, because in this case, in case of migrants to Gulf countries from Asia, India supplies the biggest number of migrants in most of the countries except Saudi Arabia, where the number of Pakistanis. So we have the strength to negotiate with these countries and tell them that, hey, if you do not mend your rules, if you do not take care of our workers to a minimum standard, then we are not going to send our people into your country. But here the problem is, this is what the government does. But problem is that most people are going from 2 or 3 South Indian countries, South Indian states, and there might be a furor by the state governments that the central government is trying to block the employment possibilities of our people who are desirous to go abroad and to work there. So this is one problem we are thought about. Secondly, You see, we have to be very careful while dealing with these people. I remember that when I was in Oman, I was in charge of Indian Community Affairs in the embassy, as well as Deputy Chief of Mission. And I saw that literally when a worker fell ill, and when a worker was seriously ill, the employer will drop him physically at the gates of the Indian embassy in early morning to take care of. So that's why what we did was we compelled the government to the local government, because government of India had already initiated a medical insurance, but which was infructuous, because according to that, the worker would have to bear all the bills, bear the cost of his or her treatment in the country, in the Gulf country he is working, and then when he comes back, returns, then he will be reimbursed. So we said no, let the employer uh, at the first instance, before we approve the contract, let the employer show us that he has already made an insurance policy in name of the worker, so that even in case the worker dies or the worker falls ill, then employer can at least send him to the hospital, so that hospital takes care of his health requirement according to the
Right.
insurance
So
policy.
hold on to that thought. We have some breaking news coming in. Karnataka Home Minister G. Parameshwara has responded to BJP's accusations of revenge politics in B.S. Yediyurappa's case of emphasizing procedural adherence. We'll get to this breaking news momentarily. But first up, let me also, in fact, go to Joyita Basu. Joyita, if you remember, when the World Cup was, being prepared in Qatar, there were a number of studies which spoke about how Indian workers were being exploited and their vulnerabilities were exposed, especially when it came to building stadiums. But none of them, has stood the test of time, and perhaps we are back to square one.
Yeah, that is it. As I said, if in 10, 11 years, as many as 3,300 of your workers die, and according to a Guardian study, they had said it was a total of 6,500 recorded cases of laborers working there who died, out of which, of course, Indians were the major numbers because Indians work there the most. Now, what has happened to that? I would like to know, because you see, these people died on foreign soil. So, for example, what is happening in this case also, the Indian government, the state governments, they're all announcing compensation. What is the Kuwaiti government doing? What is, for example, the Qatar government did for all these workers? What about compensation? They died while working for you. So there is no provision whatsoever. It seems that these countries, they're always passing the buck to the private employers and the sponsors. But isn't it also the government's responsibility to ensure that the private employers and the companies and the individuals, they create conditions that are humane enough so that these people can work over there? So if the government is not willing to take any action against their own residents, how much pressure, how much can India do? So that is why you have to read the Riot Act to all these countries and say, sorry, this is unacceptable. It's your duty. They have to understand the value of life. Not everybody should be treated as cattle, and that's what exactly they are doing with these people. I'm sorry, but these people, because they have the money, what has happened is that they have got used to the idea of cheap labor. So labor may be cheap, but life is not cheap. Think of something like this happening in India and the uproar it would cause. The governments would have to come and give an answer to Parliament, but they don't have any concept like that. They do not have any accountability. So the only accountability that can happen is that, and they are not even signatories to ILO's the different clauses related to migrant labor. So the only way there has to be accountability is for the Indian government to apply pressure.
But when you say pressure, Joyita, what exactly is meant by that? What kind of pressure can India apply at this particular time? It's one thing to get people out of jail if they are locked up on botched up charges related to spying on that particular country. But it's another matter altogether when the infrastructure which is given to these laborers is below par, is below standard. That obviously will take some time, and until then, all these people who are immigrants in these countries are exposed.
Well, take some time, it will never happen. It may never happen, and that is the worst part. So that is what the government needs to do. They need to go and talk to the government. I mean, I'm not saying be confrontationist. Okay, do not have to be like that. Go and lobby with them and think of the number of this are not just the laborers who are there in the Gulf countries. Think of the well-to-do Indians that are there. Use their services to lobby with them to ensure a change in their law. They need to understand the value of the lives of poor people. I mean, all of us have seen all of us who have been to the Gulf, we have seen how these people, all these Arab sheikhs are always running after anyone with a white skin. Okay.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.